Right, so I realized that I didn't work that much on the lighting system, and I want to show as much as possible how the lighting system works. So here it goes. It's actually a very simple system, but it needs a little bit further explanation. First of all, the light that you have is here. It's normally inside your scene before you even start Blender. And what you get is a point light. The point light can be moved like any object in object mode, and as you can see, if you are on the viewport shading, so it shows all the shadows that are happening around the scene, uh, you can see the effect that the light has in real time on your image. So if you look at view cameras, active camera, so seeing how the camera is behaving when the light is going on. For example, I'll put the light very near to the table. It illuminates this area. So it's directional. It's locational actually. So it depends on where the light is, and the light is transmitted in a different way on the object. If I try to render, like I showed, render image, you will see that the light is reflected exactly the same. Now, if I go back here, this is the point light. Very simple. It has some more options. So, radius. The radius shows how far the light illuminates, and because it's dependent on the power that you're given, this is 1000 watts, quite strong. The larger the radius you're trying to illuminate, the lower the light will go. So, see? Larger, darker. That is because it doesn't have enough power to illuminate everything. But if I increase the power, the light increases slowly. But this is not really what we want. 1000 watts. What we want is the light to have different effects that are visible. Because if you don't see the light, what's the point? So what you can do is come here and click on this, and you see that you can actually change the color of the light and the strength of the illumination. So if I go darker, that becomes darker. If I go lighter, that becomes lighter. If I change this to another color, the light changes the entire environment color. So if I want an airy color, like blue, this will create this ghostly, airy feeling. If I want it to scary, for example, it changes the mood, I'll go red. If I want natural color, I'll go back to white. So this is what normally is there. Diffuse, specular have an effect on the impact that the light has on the entire scene. So you see, it affects only some of the parameters. You know, there are normals, there are diffuse color, height map. It affects only one of those instead of everything. Shadows, it increases the amount of shadows that you're using and the type of shadows. So if you put contact shadows, this is going to increase the amount of memory that this actually uses. So I would recommend not to play around too much with this, but if you want to, you can create shadows that are much more concise and realistic. As you can see, the bottom of the table is now showing very precise shadows as if it's a real environment. Alright? Now, this is one type of light. If we duplicate, so Shift D, duplicate, create a new light, and we turn it into a sun, as you can see, now it's very, very bright. This is because it's 1000. Sun needs 1. That's the maximum. Well, you can increase the sun, I mean, if you want it stronger, but I will keep it on 1. Now, the difference with the sun is that the light is directional from the infinite point, because the sun is everywhere. So the light doesn't change depending on the distance of the sun, can be anywhere, but the direction of the sun changes everything. So you have to rotate the sun to change the shadows. If I do a rotation west or east, you get a different perception of where the sun is coming from. Could be midday, could be midnight. Well, the sun is there still at midnight, it's just in a different position. So depending on the time of the day, you can position the sun in a different place. And that is basically what it does. It adds on top of the shadows that you already have. So if you render with this, render, you get more intricate shadows. Now there are another two types of lights. Let's turn the sun, let's do another one, and let's turn it into a spotlight. Now the spotlight has a direct origin and a direct strength. So the spotlight, let's do 1000, 100, 100, let's do 1000. Alright, so to try the spotlight, let's eliminate the other two. Spotlight has a precise position. So you see, there's a radius that you can decrease, make it smaller. You need to create a point in the area where the spotlight is working. And that's it. It works physically like a real spotlight. So if you're, for example, trying a lighthouse, this would be quite a good way of doing it. If you want to do mood lights that have a particular effect, this is also quite a good light to use. Now, after you use the spotlight, there's another one, the area light. The area light affects the entire area that you're dealing with. So if you move it, it will be like a panel of light, like a solar panel that directs a square of light in that particular direction. A bit like the sun, but the difference is that if you move it, it will actually change the direction of the shadows and the strength of the light. So a bit like the spotlight, but it's larger and more comprehensive and acts more like the sun. Right? So those are the lights, and of course all the lights have different effects. So you can change the color, going to pink, and this will create another effect, like the same, the horror effect. But this will be less locational and more area wide. You can change the type. It can be a square, rectangle, or a disc. And all of this does is basically show the margins of this will be, see, there's a circular area here that you're looking at, and instead if you're looking at a square, the area when you move it will be more defined as a straight line, right? And that is it for now for the lights. So let's put them back to normal so that when you see it doesn't go weird. And one sun, I'll put sun, it is a normal, let's say midday level, yeah, from the top. And then I'll add a light, point light, and I'll place that on top of the table with a bit of strength, 100. Okay, and at the end of it, you should get in your render image with a nice effect. It defines and shows all the small details that all your normal maps and all the texture maps are supposed to have on your object without actually adding geometry. So this is a very powerful tool that can be used to really change the mood of the scene if you use it properly. Alright, and that's a short tutorial on how to use lights. See you next time.